Hi, TJ Chambers from ADHDawareness.com. I'm going to show you how I make my protein shake that I drink in the morning instead of having breakfast when I don't want to wake up early enough to make breakfast and I want something quick and something that's going to fill me up. Sometimes I just use this when I don't feel like eating dinner, I don't want to make any food. I'll just drink this, or sometimes at night, instead of trying to grab a snack or figure something out to eat, I will just drink a shake, and that way I don't have food sitting in my stomach all night. And this will give me good protein. And in a previous video I discussed J. Rob's protein powder and why I use that and why I choose that. And so look for that video. So now to make a protein shake, first what I do is I actually use a magic bullet. I've also used to use a blender, so here's my magic bullet and here's the cup. So the blender, I just, someone told me about a magic bullet, so I got it, and so that's what I use now. So with this cup here, I fill it up to the first line. Different recipes, if you want to call it that, call for different amounts. So like some people say use 12 ounces or 8 ounces of water or use juice. So this is the way that I like it, and this way I've been making it for a while. I measured it out, it's just 3/4 cup of water, which really comes down to that first line here, because this has 3 lines on this cup. And so then what I do is I like flavoring it with some frozen fruit. So what I do is I put in some strawberries. You can use blueberries, you can use bananas, anything, any fruit you can freeze and you like it, you can use it. So you just try it. Now to help thicken the shake, what you can also do is use ice cubes. So I just take a couple ice cubes. Let me use 3. What that'll do is that'll help thicken it, and which also the strawberries will help the frozen fruit, but you don't want to put too much frozen fruit in, because then you start getting too much carbs into your blood sugar, and with ADHD you don't want too much sugar going through the bloodstream at one time, because what will happen is you'll start being hyperactive and you won't be able to focus, concentrate, you can't read, sit still. Now one thing to help with blood sugar that you can do is you can swish, like if you're drinking juice, you can swish it in your mouth, get it all mixed up with your saliva, and then drink it, and that'll help with the blood sugars. But when you're making a protein shake, it's kind of tough to do, and not many people like swishing protein drinks in their mouth. So I use 2 or maybe 3 strawberries, just you play around with it, figure out what's the right amount that you want to use. So then what I do, and instead of water, like I said, you could use juice. So here I have some organic unfiltered apple juice. Sometimes I use that and it gives it a totally different flavor. I just replace the water with apple juice. So then here's the J. Rob's protein powder. I like strawberry, and I've also used, I used to use the vanilla all the time, because what the vanilla did was this, it was vanilla flavor, and then you can put juice or you can put your frozen fruit in there to give it the flavor. So I just take a scoop and I just put it in. Actually, I may have a little too much of some of this in there, but that's okay. And so 1 scoop of this is 25 grams of protein. And what I'll have to do is another video explaining how much protein do you need for your body, for your child's body, and we'll talk about that. And what I do is I add some good fat olive oil. I've also used a 369 salad oil, give you a more broad range of the omegas, the omega fats. It's good to have a broad range because we need omega-3s too, which you usually get from fish. So you can use your olive oil, you can use your omega-3 oil, you can use a little bit of both. So what I do is I just put some in here. I don't know, what, like maybe like 2 tablespoons or something like that. I don't usually measure that. I just pour it in. I'm just so used to doing this every day. I know what it looks like when I put it in there and how much I want. So I don't have to be exact because it's all going to get used by the body, or the body's going to get rid of it. And so here's why I have my shake. So now what I'm going to do is just put it on my bullet. Sometimes what I do is I'll take it off, shake it up a little bit, and you can still hear grinding stuff up. And what happens is it grinds things up. It's also thickening it when it's chopping up the ice and the strawberries. And you see little red specks of all the strawberries being chopped up. And it starts turning into basically like a milkshake. And what child won't want a milkshake for breakfast every day? Alright, so it's really thick. Right now it's no longer shakeable and really shaking around. So this one turned out actually a little more liquidy than what I normally do. So it depends on how much water I put in, how much strawberries I put in, and so here we go. So here's my protein shake, and it's good. I love this. It's delicious. And so when you have your child, you say, I can't get my child to eat healthy. Well, yes, you can. Here's one way you can do it. If you need to put some juice in it, put some juice in it to sweeten it up. Whatever you need to do. So one of the other excuses is that people say, well, that protein powder is too expensive. I'll just get the cheap stuff. And remember what you're trying to accomplish here. You don't want your child to have behavioral problems. You want your child to be able to focus and be able to read and do homework. You don't want your child to be hyperactive. So you have to start changing something now. That means you got to start changing the diet. You have to start changing the way that you think about things, the way that you look at how much money you're going to spend on food and these different things. Because what you'll find is when you start changing the diet and you start getting the proper foods, you're not going to be spending as much money on things. Like, you're not going to be buying all this junk food and all this sugar, and the sugar and these junk foods tend to have additives that'll make you crave it even more. So now you're eating more food and you're getting more sugar, you have more health problems, you're going to the doctors more, you're sick more, you're getting medications more. So when you start eating right and treat the body right the way it needs to be, then you're going to be spending less in the long run. And with this protein powder, and if you're doing this for a child, you're not going to be making the, probably not going to be using a full scoop. And a full scoop will last, will give you 76 servings. So if you use, let's say you use half of that, you're using, 12.5 grams of protein. You're using half a scoop. That's going to last you, I can't think off the top of my head right now, 152 servings. 76 doubled. So it's really not as expensive as it may appear, and this is, you can use for snacks. Your child's going to love it. I've actually taken it and put a lot more ice cubes in it and turned it into like an ice cream, and it tastes just like a strawberry ice cream. It was very good. And if you need to add a little bit of sweetener, then you can use something like honey or agave nectar. And the best honey to get, if you can find, is going to be unfiltered and unheated. Yes, sometimes you might find little pieces of honeycomb or little piece of the bee. Just scoop it out and get rid of it. That's going to be the best and the healthiest for you. And that's about it. So if you want me to show you any other recipes, let me know. I can make more videos and show you some of the other ways to do it. You can add bananas, frozen or raw, and I will do that. So visit my website at ADHDawareness.com, and don't forget to sign up for my email list. Look for the button with the newsletter or just the opt-in email list box, and hope to hear from you soon.